Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into something pretty radical, a whole new way of looking at bipolar, based on the work of Mark Tulloch. This is an explainer that goes way beyond just managing a disorder. It's about learning to harness a really unique kind of internal energy. So, let's get into it. And boom, right out of the gate, you get this. This is the core idea that just flips the script on everything we're typically told. Instead of seeing a lifelong sentence, this perspective asks, what if it's actually an opening? A doorway to a deeper part of who you are.
And that leads us to this huge question, right? Is this a disorder or is it an interface? The whole idea here is to get you to just pause and shift your perspective. What if the experience isn't some kind of malfunction, but actually a different kind of connection to your own mind?
Okay, so what's with this number, 90%? Well, the source material makes this fascinating point. Modern science really only understands about 10% of the human brain. So the question becomes, what if bipolar is an interface with that other unmapped 90%? Pretty well thought, right?
And this slide, man, it just lays it all out so clearly. On one side, you have the conventional view. It's a disorder you need to suppress. You manage symptoms, you aim for stability. But then, on the other side, you have this aware vision, which completely flips that. It's a doorway to explore. The symptoms are actually signals to harness. And the goal isn't just stability, it's something called emotional fluency.
So you're probably asking, okay, that sounds cool, but how does it actually work? Well, the foundation, the very first step, is all about developing what's called the observer within. This is about learning how to see the signal, not just get lost in the storm.
The name for this skill is meta-awareness, and the metaphor they use is just perfect. Think of it like this. Instead of being tossed around by the waves in the ocean, you take a step back onto the beach. You can still see the waves, feel their power, but you're not drowning in them. You're observing what's happening inside you before you just automatically react.
Okay, so how do you actually do this? It's really a three-step dance. First, you just observe. You step back from that wave of emotion. Then, the crucial part, you pause. You create a little bit of space between the feeling and your automatic reaction. And it's in that space, in that pause, that you get to choose how to direct that energy.
And this right here, this is a mantra you can literally take with you. This is energy. I can use it or be used by it. It just changes the whole game, doesn't it? It's this powerful reminder that you're not a victim of your emotions. You have this energy, and the choice is whether you're going to direct it or it's going to direct you.
All right, so you've got this observer in place. Now what? Well, let's talk about the highs. This whole section is about learning how to see those periods of intensity not as something to fear, but as this incredible surge of energy that you can actually channel into something amazing.
So, the first thing is learning to spot the signs when that energy starts to climb. You know, your thoughts speed up, you get a flood of new ideas, you don't need as much sleep. But here's the twist. In this system, these aren't just warning signs. They're awareness cues. They're just data telling you, hey, your energy is rising, it's time to direct it. Okay, so you feel that energy rising. The key now is to give it a job to do, to give it a container so it doesn't just scatter everywhere. This means focusing all that incredible power on just one or two core projects. You could channel it into art, or music, or writing, or use it to tackle a complex problem. The idea is to create boundaries and direct the surge.
All right, so we've talked about the highs, but what about the lows? Well, this framework sees the lows completely differently too. It's not a collapse. It's a call from your body and mind for a conscious retreat. It's about intentional rest and reflection.
And just like with the highs, it's all about awareness. The source calls these precursors to a low forecasts, which I think is brilliant. You know, you start feeling flat, tired, you lose interest in things. When you see that forecast, you know the weather is changing, and you can prepare. You can respond consciously instead of getting caught in the storm.
So what does that preparation actually look like? Well, it's about designing a safe space, a retreat for yourself. This isn't about hiding away. It's about things like letting a trusted person know what's up, having a low-day kit ready with cozy things, and simplifying your schedule. These aren't acts of giving up, they're acts of honoring what your system needs.
Okay, let's tie this all together. How do you use this day to day? This is where we get into the daily framework, which is all about finding your personal rhythm. It's about creating flow, not forcing yourself into some rigid routine that's just gonna break.
And the main tool here is so simple, it's genius. It's called the comfort zone scale. It's just a 1 to 10 scale you can use to check in with yourself throughout the day.
And the key word here is compassionate. It's about collecting data, not passing judgment on yourself.
So if you check in and you're at a 1 to 3, that's the too low zone. You're feeling withdrawn, kind of flatlined. Seeing this number isn't a bad thing. It's just a signal, a gentle cue from yourself to yourself saying, hey, it's time to reconnect, time to nourish the system.
Now this middle range, the 4 to 6, that's your sweet spot. That's the optimal zone. This is where you're grounded, you're clear, and you have the most access to your intuition and your personal power. This is the zone where you can make conscious choices with ease.
And then you have the other end of the scale. A 7 to 10 is too high. You're feeling racy, ungrounded, maybe a bit manic. And again, seeing this number isn't a cause for panic. It's just a clear signal telling you it's time to use your tools to ground yourself, slow down, and recalibrate.
You know, all of this entire system, it really boils down to this one powerful idea from their manifesto. I am not waiting to be fixed, I am learning to lead myself. It's such a profound shift in mindset, away from being a passive patient and into being the active leader of your own life. So I'm going to leave you with this one last question, a really powerful one to just sit with. It turns the whole conventional idea of a disorder completely on its head. What if your challenge is actually your design? What if the very thing you've been fighting is a core part of what makes you uniquely you? Something to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.